Oh, this is one of these, it makes you so miserable, this. There's a bloke known as Britain's kindest plumber, and he's got a firm called Depher, D-E-P-H-E-R, and basically he was getting money from people because he was going out and doing acts of kindness with his plumbing. So I'll show you the kind of publicity he was getting over here. And actually, Hugh Grant started with a 20,000 donation. Bless him, Hugh's a generous guy, he and his wife. 75 grand they give this guy. So there he is, James Anderson from Burnley, appearing, Santa Claus outfit. No charge for a 91-year-old's boiler under any circumstances. Then he said he stopped someone taking their own life and whatnot. And it seems quite a lot of it may be untrue. A BBC investigation has accused him of using the donations to pay for his car and his home. He's apologised, saying, I know I've done it wrong. I apologise, but what can I do? I haven't got a magic stick. I'm not Harry Potter. Well, not lying would be a start. He says he's made mistakes because of bullying, harassment and attacks by trolls. But, it wasn't just celebs like Lily Allen was one, Hugh Grant. Our own Harriet Cochrane, who's one of our brilliant researchers, saw the work of Anderson and she started giving money as well.
I came across Depher a couple of years ago on Twitter, I think, and they would post so many heartbreaking photos, stories that I actually began donating. Obviously, not a huge amount of money, not the same as Hugh Grant, but, £10 here, £20 there, just because I thought, if there's something I could do to help out, then why not? And he seemed like a very honest and genuine man.
And how are you feeling now about it?
Well, I feel like a bit of an idiot. Again, probably not as much as Hugh Grant does, but obviously, I think in the last couple of years, I think there's maybe been, a few rumblings about some of the work that he was doing, but I always thought he looked like a very honest gentleman, and I thought I was putting my money in a good place, but perhaps not.
Must be a lot of people feeling like Harriet, mustn't
Oh, this is such a sad story. Charities are struggling, and a big part, I helped set up a charity. I'm heavily involved in a military charity for the last 15 years. And
which one?
For me, it's called Give Us Time. Oh, right. It's amazing. It was set up by Liam Fox, who's a doctor, and it just works on giving hotel rooms to veteran families to spend time away with their families.
Well, this plumber had 2 million in donations.
Well, we depend on that trust.
Yeah.
Those people who donate to our charity, when we show the veterans and the footage and the stories, it has to be true. The lying, I think, has a negative impact on that trust with charities.
On all of them.
However, I also feel this chap, it's a very British story. This is probably you mentioned it earlier, it could be made into a Netflix series, because there seems to be a lot more to this man's life story, and perhaps the big apology at the end could soften the blow, but it's just a shame the damage it does to charities as a whole.
True. I suppose it's possible. Let's look on the bright side here. He starts with the best of intentions. He gets 2 million quid through the door, which is incredible. And then, unfortunately, he's walking past a car showroom and he thinks, I like the look of that. It didn't start as a scam. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's often
what do you think?
The path to hell is often paved with good intentions. There's that old phrase. And interestingly, looking at the type of structure of the organisation, so it's not a charity, it's a community interest company. So actually, I set up a social enterprise myself back in 2007 called Oxford that supports sixth form students applying to university from less advantaged backgrounds. And we were thinking charity or community interest company. Charities have much more demanding legislature, whereas community interest company, you operate like a company, but then there's this ruling that you've got to provide a public benefit. So, example, for my organisation, I couldn't take profit for myself out of it. So, obviously, you set up this sort of easier structure. And again, it makes me question, if it was a straight-up charity, it's easy. You get money in, deliver money out. But community interest companies operate almost like halfway between a normal company and a charity.
But the big picture here, I don't know whether he gets the tax back on the donations. I suspect that's the key thing. But the big picture is he took money on false pretenses.
It's deception, and that's a horrible feeling.
It's serious, and
it should be a criminal offence, shouldn't it?
I think he will be in some trouble unless he may say. How trolls drove him to it, I don't know, but he may say he just went astray.
Yeah, I
think that's the best defence. I'm sorry, I had a bad Tuesday.
And I think people get addicted to the attention, and if he's suddenly built up as a hero, he's going to carry on.
But why wouldn't he do the heroic thing? I mean, the idea that he said, I stopped an old lady from taking her own life and now we discover she died 3 years earlier. That's not good.
No, it's not nice. And it leaves a really bad taste in people's mouths because it's taking advantage of, compassion and humans are naturally wanting to help others.
And I think the British public, we're very generous. When we see a cause that we get behind, people open up their purses,
look at Harriet.
wallets, credit cards.
My
So I think it's exploited that.
The-